Now that we've done drafting, we can now revise. Luckily, with today's technology, cutting and pasting makes drafting and revising a lot easier. If we write our rough draft on Word, it makes it easier to move paragraphs or change sentences. It really helps with the organization process. Revising is done before final drafting, and here are some things that we check for. We check for organization, voice, and visualization. Organization, we just want to make sure that the writing piece is fluid and makes sense to the reader. Voice, we want to make sure we know who is talking. And visualization, we want to use some really good, great descriptive silver dollar words. When using silver dollar words, we give a good visualization to the story so that we can actually picture everything in our mind. Paired with organization, voice, and visualization, I have paired some mentor texts that can show organization, voice, or visualization in either of these stories. Voices in the Park gives a great 4 different stories of the same time in the park, but from different point of view, so it's a great story. And when we revise, we're not actually editing, which we will learn about soon, but revising is just the process where we focus on the big picture and the story in general. Some questions to ask when revising are, am I accomplishing my purpose for writing? Have I included enough information? Have I organized the piece effectively? Is the tone right? Do I need to clarify? Will people be able to understand my argument? And have I developed characters enough? And what about my lead? Often when revising, it helps to read things out loud. We can revise and read aloud with ourselves or a partner. Even reading to yourself out loud and not just in your head can help you to see things and read things that you normally wouldn't when you're reading in your mind. We can catch certain errors, and when reading aloud with somebody else, we can get some suggestions from either a teacher or a peer. So the next step I'm going to have you guys do is to read your paper aloud to yourself or a neighbor, and some things I want you to think about while you're revising. What do you notice when you did this? Did you catch some mistakes? Were your thoughts organized? Did you have great voice? Was it consistent? Did you create a good visual picture in your mind? I'm going to give you 1 minute to either work with your neighbor to read it out loud to yourself. Write down any new ideas you want to add or you think you should change. Feel free to revise what you have, and I'll give you guys a minute for that. Once we finish the revising part, we move on to editing. Editing is kind of described as doing the really small, tiny, very important details. Editing is a very important part of the process. It's different from revising because we use editing for proper grammage usage, spelling, punctuation, and sentence structure. Editing is the nitty-gritty of the revising process. So we will go through and edit, and here you're going to pay attention to spelling and also did you use the correct word. Not only, but you also want to make sure that you're using the same tense. So you're using, if you're writing you're not using the past tense if you're trying to write in the here and the now. We can also, when editing, pay attention to visualization. Does your piece create a picture in the reader's mind? Is this where creativity and detail is used to create a vivid picture in the reader's mind, as if they're there in person and not reading? So though action is fantasy, readers can buy into the story because there is enough real-world knowledge they can bring to bear it. A good fantasy and fiction story is J.K. Rowling's in Harry Potter. She uses great detail in how she describes the school and the setting of the story so that we believe that we're actually there and we can see everything that's going on. Here I have given two samples. One is they're good or bad writing samples. I would like you to take a couple minutes to read over the samples and discuss with your neighbor what you believe makes these good and bad writing samples. Now that we've gone over the editing process, I would like you to review your rough draft for grammar, punctuation, spelling, and word usage. If possible, use a different color pen or pencil, and you can use editing symbols and techniques as well. I will give you 2 minutes. Once we've gone over the editing stage, we can finally move on to a final draft. A final draft is fixing all the mistakes and adjustments from your rough draft. Often final drafting will come after meeting with the teacher for a final look over. With a final draft also comes publishing. This is your pride and joy of your writing process, and your story is finally done and created. It's presenting a final copy and organized creative writing sample. This may include pictures, borders, and nice stationery. Sometimes this could also be in a classroom where we take all of our students' work and bind it together into one final book. Part of your homework for the end of this workshop, since it's coming to a close, is for our next session, I would like you guys to create your final draft and bring back for the author share at the next workshop. And I'd like you guys to continue writing. Some extra homework I would like you to do following this workshop. Now that we've learned about creative writing and how it works in the classroom, I would like you guys to implement it, create mini lessons, and start going through the creative writing process. Organize your bookshelves into important mentor texts you plan to model through the writing process. And you can use the ones I gave you. I would also like you to read the following articles on effective writing in reading and writing with understanding, comprehension in the 4th and 5th grades, and what makes writing good, an essential question for teachers from the reading teacher. The most important thing I would like you guys to do is to make time to write yourselves. By writing yourself, you can enjoy talking to your students about the writing process from your own experiences, your own trials and tribulations, and some things you experience that might make it easier for them once going through the process. Try to write in the same approach and the same genre as your students, so you have something to talk to them from. I'd like you to continue writing on your own if possible. I know time is restricted in some of our classrooms, but it is a great learning experience as well. For the next time, if you guys could bring back your learnings and how effectively this worked in your classroom, what did you find, what were the good things, the bad things, just something you'd like to share with all of us. We will have an author share, and we will discuss some of this information when we meet the next time. Hope you enjoyed the workshop, and happy writing.